I was making the distinction between the achievement gap, which is a common used term, and equity gap, as we frame this present state of education in Minnesota. So now we've come from, the top of studies when they look at 50 states. Minnesota used to be called the miracle state, right? And now we've been brought down, we've been drawn by this political agenda to strip education from state funding to the bottom of the country. We're like the worst. And then you couple that with the pipeline from cradle to prison, and it's just a very dangerous time to be a young person from our communities of color, indigenous, and immigrant communities. It's a dangerous time. So let me move on. In 2008, the national elections, this is a very important part of history. There was an organizer who was running for president. His name was Barack Obama. The reason I say he was an organizer is because he was trained at the same training institute we were all trained at. I was trained at the Gamaliel Foundation in Chicago, where Barack got his training. His trainers are the same trainers that sat over there in the training rooms and trained me and several other organizers in Minnesota. Okay? So when people come to town for the... Thanks, Suzanne. When people come to town in St. Paul right before that election and trashed community organizing, there was this woman called Sarah Palin who saw... she saw Russia from her kitchen window or something. And then Giuliani, he's got his own agenda. But they came in and trashed community organizing. Those of us in the field, in the profession, were like, you go, Barack, you get him, And Barack got him. So he became president, the first African-American president in United States history. And a lot of people would say, okay, racism was a problem in the past. We used to have slavery laws. We used to have immigration laws that we would call the Operation Wetback, which was intended after the Bracero program to remove all the Mexican workers back south of the border. There was anti-Japanese immigration and internment policies coming out of Congress. So many would say now we have an African-American president. So racism is a thing of the past, okay? Well, what we saw was a continuation of the same old political debate about the role of government in social issues facing communities. That whole war on poverty thinking. And what we saw was this political divide stopping any real equitable progress at the national level, even though we had an African American as a new president.